Hey everyone, Tyler here at The Movie Beat. Welcome back to another Korean movie review. And this one I want to be sharing my thoughts on a really good film I just checked out called Baseball Girl, Korean sports drama film, directed by Choi Yun-tae, and it stars Joo-young and Jun-hyuk. Let's get into this one. So I think by this time we kind of all know what we're getting into when we check out a sports drama film, as they're always kind of similar. We've got either that underdog individual athlete or it's a team sport that is just not quite at the level that they want to be at, or something is blocking them from excelling however they had set out to. And, we get sort of either a new coach that comes along, something helps them really unlock that potential that was always there, they just couldn't get to, whether it was mental, physical, technical, and then they, exceed expectations, and it's very emotional, inspirational. It's just kind of how these things go. But really only a handful of these sports drama films, at least that I've seen, do feature either a female athlete or a female sports team. Of course, movies like A League of Their Own or $1 Million Baby. There's a Korean sports film that I really like called Forever the Moment. I do feel like those movies that I just mentioned have proven that the female sports drama film can really rival the drama that's reached in some of the best male sports drama films like Rocky or Foxcatcher. And I think Baseball Girl is another shining example of just how well that drama really comes across. And I think it just has to do with the sports drama genre. But also, Baseball Girl is a great addition into, I think, the overall canon of sports films, because it's got a really unique central character, and it takes a really honest look at a lot of the social and familial challenges that the young dreamers in Korea, and I think it can expand to all over the world, face as they try to realize their dreams. So here we go. In her senior year of high school, Joo Soo-in, played by Joo-young, has built up quite a reputation for herself as the girl who dreams of becoming a professional ball player, baseball. Although petite in stature and carrying little muscle mass, Soo-in remains a respected member of her baseball club team as the only girl at an all-boys high school. She even holds the record for the fastest pitch, clocking in at 134 kilometers an hour, or mid-80s, lower 80 mile per hour. As graduation nears, Soo-in's prospects of growing pro will depend on her performance at tryouts put on by the various league organizations. But when her being female causes various obstacles to arise, her chance of going pro begins to rapidly diminish. To make matters worse, the arrival of a new club coach, played by Jun-hyuk, who sees Soo-in's efforts to turn pro as futile, on top of her overbearing mother pressuring her to pursue a more secure vocation, Soo-in is pressed to find a special quality within herself that will make up for her shortcomings as she comes face to face with the reality of her future. Now, as far as I can tell, a woman has never played in the senior ranks of any professional baseball organization, and to be honest, going into this movie, I didn't even know that was possible. So I think that's kind of why Baseball Girl opens up with a kind of an interesting title card that states, prior to the year 1996, really all non-male, there's a weird sentence in the baseball rulebook that said all non-males were disqualified from playing on like a medical grounds. But that line was removed in 1996, which technically opened the door to women to be able to play professional baseball. Now, obviously, it's going to be highly unlikely that the next home run derby winner is going to be a female, just because of the various physical limitations and whatnot. But it is interesting to consider that maybe a really skilled female athlete could take on the role of maybe a catcher or shortstop or some position. And Baseball Girl explores this possibility with its young female protagonist named Soo-in, who's short, she's petite, but what she lacks in muscle mass and stature, she more than makes up for in determination. She has to really put in double the effort of any male counterpart that is in the same role if she wants a fighting chance. And I love the angle that this film explored to really show her specialty of having this really nasty knuckleball that she's going to develop as her strength as a player, that to really stand out among the pack. Actress Joo-young, who also was in that drama Itaewon Class, I believe, as a supporting character, she really does a great job in this film expressing that grit that's really needed for Soo-in to fight through all of these various obstacles that get put in front of her. So whether it was during the really well-filmed late night training sessions that have her running laps around the track or throwing pitches until her fingers bleed, or even when she's arguing with her mother through all of the family pressures that she has at home, I really felt that actress Lee Joo-young was very interesting to watch in this role. There's this real interesting kind of vulnerability that comes across with her physicality, just in the way that she looks, that really adds to that overall sense of her being an underdog. But she also displays a lot of really kind of blunt confidence at times in the way that she stands up for herself against her mother, or when people are kind of just being rude, she can overhear people talking like, "Are you kidding me? Look at her. There's no way this is going to be a professional baseball player." She's like, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" So I think that personality trait really gave her character enough believability that was needed to even create that possibility that success could be there for this really, young, petite girl. So it helped me to be able to start rooting for her in this movie, and I really just thought she did awesome. Another really interesting side to this film, Baseball Girl, comes with a lot of the conflict that arises within Soo-in's sort of lower middle income family, and it presents itself most loudly with a lot of really intense scoldings that she receives from her overbearing mother, played by Yum Hae-ran. I think a lot of people who have watched Korean films before have seen this type of mother. As many times as I've seen it, as long as I've lived here, it's still very jarring. They're loud, they're in your face, kind of controlling, very controlling. They kind of keep the father in check as well, and he's in fear of really sharing his opinion on the matter. And so Soo-in's father has this kind of silent support for her that comes across, and you can see that very well. He's also studying to get his realtor's license, so a little bit of his own personal struggle and challenge that he can relate to his daughter with. I really liked that because Soo-in's mother is really pushing her to quit baseball and save herself embarrassment, get a job, get something secure. Do you know the value of a dollar type of mom. So although it's somewhat formulaic, the ways in which her family dynamics evolve over the film is very well done. And there are a few surprises that I think make some really important points or statements on the different pitfalls that can arise when pursuing a dream, the various paths that one can take. So I really like that aspect of the film. It's a big, strong aspect of this movie. And so this movie, Baseball Girl, builds steadily over its story. Like I said in the very beginning of this review, it does follow a lot of sort of traditional sports drama type tropes. That new coach does come in, doesn't really believe in her at first, and she sort of has to find that thing inside of her to set her apart. A little bit of a training montage. While it did have some upbeat music, it was a little bit more personal. I just felt more connected to the character during the training montage. It's not like she just becomes Wonder Woman after 5 minutes, but I did feel like the climax of this film was really surprising, and a lot of the emotions that I felt during it, because that part was really unlike typical sports drama films, because there's no big championship on the line, there's no record to break, there's not even an audience in the stands. So it all comes down to Soo-in getting a chance to try out really in front of some type of big baseball organization to get scouted or get hired. So with that simple setup, the drama on the line still felt like Game 7 at the World Series. I mean, maybe a little bit less, but very emotional, and I was surprised at what I felt during those scenes. But Baseball Girl does make for one such experience, and I do think it portrays its unique protagonist in one of the most compelling and individual looks at the overall team sport of baseball that I really have ever seen. And because this movie came out during the COVID pandemic, I feel like it's not really getting seen like it should be, and I really hope this film comes to either Netflix or gets some kind of international deal that just people can watch it. And I would definitely buy this and watch it again if it came out on, some kind of nice home format as well. So I hope you guys can check out Baseball Girl and let me know your thoughts on it when you do. I'm going to rate this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely check it out. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So thanks for watching. As always, I'm Tyler at The Movie Beat. Until next time, keep watching movies.